David Jiricek is going to join the Minnesota Wild this week after finally parting ways with the Blue Jackets. It's a new chapter for the defenseman. He still has a ton of potential, and Minnesota is right to believe in him. In this video, we're going to break down one of Jiricek's final games with the Cleveland Monsters. It's a performance that shows both his remaining weaknesses and his multiple strengths. It shows glimpses of the player he could be if he manages to develop some key aspects of his game. Jiříček loves to pinch up for pucks. It's one of the things that got him in trouble in Columbus. But when he times his pinches well, he can create some great offensive looks for his team. Here's an example. He sees the puck thrown on the boards, he's close to the potential retriever and has support. He wins possession, and we see his passing skills. He slips the puck under his stick and almost creates a tic-tac-toe play. The other team gets a rush chance out of the play, but that's not on him, and his teammates catch up. We then see his style of defense. Yurchik doesn't like taking shortcuts. He heads straight for the puck carrier in a fast glide. It works in this instance, but again, there are other situations where it doesn't and players pass the puck through him or move around him. He takes a more measured approach after. He moves toward the battle, conserves some spacing, and manages to knock the puck away from the opposition and stop a 2-on-1 coming at the net.
15th point. Blues back to his defense pairing. Disposal to Yurchik, and now spinning up ice sits Gavin Brindley into the offensive zone. Offhand left wing entry, ducks under a hit, tries to center it. This one bounces off an Admiral's.
As we can already see, Yurchik is very aggressive. That's his main strength and also his main weakness. He makes big plays and big mistakes. Yes, his skating is a weakness in some aspects, but it's really managing risk that's the biggest challenge of his development.
Just missed him.
Here's Sinistroza now for Milwaukee, left circle, out to the left point, Mateer feeds across the zone, Blankenberg gathers, fires, and safety.
Jiricek defends the rush well here. He arrives at a good angle, has a good gap, and he forces the opponent to dump the puck past him with the pressure of his stick. And then he supports the breakout. He gives an option to his partner, and he makes the next pass. I'm not sure it was his role to do this, as he already had one of his forwards in position. But the behind-the-net passing lane was cut, and Yurchik saw the opening in the middle of the ice. So he took matters into his own hands. That's usually what he does. He takes charge and lets the pieces fall where they may. Some would call his decision-making problem a lack of hockey sense. But for me, judging risk is not an issue of hockey sense. Yurchik processes the game fast and he spots opportunities ahead of time. He just decides to act on everything he sees. That's more of an issue of maturity. He needs to learn to pick his spots. Here, he does make a safer decision. He faces a pack of defenders, he doesn't try to dangle through, but places the puck in the corner and lets his forecheck do the work. Right after, he continues to show good rush defense. He anticipates the slash run here, gets closer to the opponent, and removes his space. That way, even if the opponent gets the puck, he won't be able to do much with it. That's preemptive defense, and another positive for him in this game. Jiříček is overall not the strongest defender at this stage, especially in the NHL. There are many different issues. He has to learn to manage the puck better, to pick the right time to pinch, and also to make these kinds of preemptive, safer reads more often. He's capable of making the right reads. It's just a matter of consistency, and that's what the Wild will have to work with him to develop. Here's another positive sign. This is a 50-50 puck. His teammate is a bit closer to it. If Jiříček stayed true to his nature, he would have jumped up here, either to get the puck or to attack this space. But Jiříček stays back in case his teammate doesn't. His team managed to establish possession in the zone, and they got many good looks. Jiříček even got his own chance to activate and fire on net.
Pucha across, here's Fix-Polanski, left wall, hands off for Yurchik, atop the circles, looking for his shooting lane, even a passing lane. Will go down to the right corner, it's Fix-Polanski, throws it out to Pucha again. Pucha looking to his left, hands back, Fix-Polanski, right circle, Yurchik, loads, fires, and Krona the save, got it with the left arm.
There's a turnover at the start of this shift. Jiříček moves back. We see his skating mechanics a bit here. He's an upright skater who moves with short strides. He seems a bit stuck in one block as he moves. These mechanics reduce his agility and balance. It can take him an extra step to change direction, and as he's higher on his skates, he can have a harder time winning and protecting the puck on the boards. Here, he's going 1-on-4 as his team is changing. But because he's far from his own net and his team has time to come back on the ice, it's not a very risky decision either.
Perhaps to draw a penalty in that situation, but none has been dished out.
He makes a good breakout play at the end. He scans for pressure and options, sees the forechecker coming with speed, and beats him with a tight turn while protecting the puck, and he makes the pass across.
Seconds ticking off The Q's penalty, he's out of the box. Monsters 1 for 1 on the PK. Back to full and even strength. 2-0 Cleveland here late in the opening period. Twisting.
Here's another example of Jiříček learning to manage risk. He goes to retrieve the puck. He has two options: a bank pass to his defenseman behind the net, or a middle pass. The middle pass is more tempting, but there's pressure incoming, so Yurchik picks the safe play. Then he has the green light to activate and try and make something happen, as there's space for the offense. The first pass turns over, so he comes back and activates a second time. We see him defending after. He manages the takeaway, and then he makes a difficult middle breakout pass.
Given away to Sillinger in the slot. And now it is back to be pushed inside the Monster blue line by Wall for Milwaukee. Sawchenko, he is adept at playing the puck. He likes to play the puck, and he's good at it. As he was Jiříček, we talked about it a little bit yesterday, but it's not the easiest thing to go from a predictable NHL to an unpredictable AHL. So it just takes a little time.
This point about predictability is also applicable to more than the AHL. Jiříček will go from Columbus to a winning Wild formation. If he does earn a spot on that team, he should play with better and more predictable teammates, and maybe even players capable of propping up his own strengths. The NHL game could become much easier for him, and his talents could shine even more. We see those in this shift, and also Jiříček's tendency to play a bit loose and gamble. He doesn't take a very good angle at the puck carrier here. He exposes the middle a bit, but it works because he has partner support anyway. He lets his man go and circles up ice. The puck deflects to the wall. He makes a stick check, catches the puck, and attempts a backhand pass to his teammate up the ice. Jiříček sees the play move from 4-on-4 to 5-on-5. He sees his teammate get out of the box, but he doesn't turn his head to hide his intentions and try and spring his teammate for a breakaway. Jiříček can anticipate and orchestrate great plays. His offensive mind is by far his best quality, and we see it here again. He anticipates and intercepts a breakout pass and sets up a scoring chance.
A huge crowd, a good game against the Marlies, who will keep rolling. Also, they've
There's a turnover. Jiříček in front, tried to find Pucha, took a stab at it. Now it's Svozil left airing into his team.
yeah, he was not happy.
Here's Milwaukee dumping one in. Schaefer shoving Svozil now.
His time in Columbus taught him a few better habits, but by the end, he was also becoming more hesitant to play to his strengths. Here, he's pinching. He could have gotten to the puck, but he approached too slowly and turned back instead. The play ends up in a rush the other way, and he has too large of a gap with the incoming attacker here. He only spots him late, which leads to a dangerous shot on net. The Wild will have to find ways to help Jiříček reconnect with his strengths and use them to their full potential, while also removing these kinds of plays from his game.
Unit gets a chance now. Here's Jiříček into the offensive zone. Sashayed past Blankenberg, then caught an edge, and again it's cleared. Another example of what you're talking about, entering the zone.
Because underneath the mistakes, there's still a special prospect here. He's 6'3" or 6'4", he's physical, has enough mobility, and he can pull off plays like these.
Back out through the neutral zone. Carried by Delbel Blues. Cross the line, then Jiříček to the slot. Malatesta.
He has great vision and an ability to take over shifts sometimes. His shot is also a constant threat from the blue line.
Business. They have outscored their opponents in the first by a wide margin there.
And when he's set up like this on the power play.
And in painful fashion, Schaefer's going to leap into the bench there as he's not feeling too great. High slot, Pucha, left circle, Jiříček to the front. He wanted Malatesta, and the puck scrapes to Delbel Blues.
It's not just the power of his shot. He can also spot teammates near the net and send pucks that they can deflect. And he's very good at spotting and attacking gaps in coverage to give options to teammates. With experience, Jiříček could also become a pretty good defensive stopper. It's very likely that he's always going to have weaknesses in that side of his game, but he has the size to win battles and the range to steal the puck back. Jiříček hasn't evolved that much since his draft year. We can argue about the role his environment might have played in that, but that's still a concern. There's another way to think about him and his NHL projection that is much more positive, however. Yes, he's about the same player he was back then, and he's a bit awkward sometimes. But in that current awkward form, he's already an AHL All-Star and a capable NHL offensive defenseman. He still has a lot of development runway ahead and a lot of untapped potential. It doesn't mean that he will become a top NHL player, but the qualities he already has and his remaining potential mean that he's still worth a lot as a prospect. It took a few years and the right role for Evan Bouchard to figure out this game. He still has weaknesses, but he's a very useful player when used according to his strengths. Jiříček might not become the same level of player, but he could follow a similar development. He's well worth a few picks and a depth defenseman. If Yurchik does develop, and if he does get the right support and a team that understands his strengths, he could break out in a major way.
Barreling through center, working on Yurchik. Good stick for Yuri. Comes up with possession. Spun out there. Good non-call as he wiped out in the corner. Now it's Pucha. Kyle Pucha exiting his own zone for Cleveland. Headmans the puck. Here's Sillinger. Yurchik driving the net to him. He scores!
So that's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe. You can also check out eprinkside.com for more prospect analysis.